Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode number 247, and my name is Jason. I am the owner of Outdoor Legacy, and as always, I've got my co-host Hans from the Hansies Texas YouTube channel, and we are back from Las Vegas for the SHOT Show 2023. We are back in Texas, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, this is the first time in a while, I think, that nobody's come back tragically sick or, having to go to the emergency room or hospital because of being sick. So I did, many of you may have saw for those that watch on Instagram, I got an IV, and it's the first time I've ever done an IV for something, but before I went out to Vegas, because I always come back sick. So, here in town, they got a clinic and you can do these IVs where it has like all these things to help you not get sick and stay hydrated. And I did one of those, and I tell you, after I did it, I was like, well, I don't feel any different. It's supposed to give you energy. But I came back, never got sick, never felt bad, never had a headache, felt great the whole week. And yeah, maybe it did work. Maybe I was just thinking it did.
Well, I'll say this. My wife and you are normally the ones who come back, have caught whatever's out there. I normally go sick, which is about what happened this year. I got sick about the week before, but I didn't take one of these IVs. My wife did, and like you, she came back feeling good. So maybe I should have done one, but I don't know. If you go to Vegas and you don't come back with, some kind of a cough or something after being on the plane, being at the show with 50, 60,000 people, whatever it is. You're
shaking hands all day long. It is. But we have one more week of some SHOT Show talk. So we're going to be talking a little bit about just everything we saw at SHOT Show, talk about some very loose dates as far as ETAs on arrivals on some of the new things that we talked about. I want to talk about obviously a couple of things that we saw that have brought up a lot of questions on social media that we didn't mention on the last show, that optics we saw. And then kind of end it all with the state of the industry, what we saw versus maybe a little bit versus what our predictions were versus what we see coming in the future, maybe the near future, maybe the far away future. But we're going to be talking about all of that and just kind of putting a nice big bow on SHOT Show month so we can move on and do something and talk about something else. But we got to clear up some few things first. And Jason, before we get into it, let's get our plugs in. So, we were outlawed last week. Tons of people were still calling the office. Thank you so much for your patience. I know a lot of you had questions about new things coming out during SHOT Show or needed help deciding on an optic. This is today's January 20th, 2023. This is when we were recording the show a little bit earlier than normal, but we will be back to work full bore this week. So if you're interested in purchasing a night vision or thermal optic, we don't just talk about this stuff. We don't just take it out and have fun with it. We do this because we sell these optics, and we're available for those of you that want to be customers of ours. You can call us 877-350-1818. You can find all of the optics either we are talking about or all the new stuff. If it's new, it will be on the website as soon as it's starting to be available and we can do some deposits. But outdoorlegacygear.com, you can find it. Again, 877-350-1818. But Jason, before we get into the stuff that we did talk about, I want to talk about a couple of things that kind of caused a stir right before SHOT Show. The first one was, and a lot of people have been talking and asking about it, the brand new ATN 1280 resolution thermal scope. I think they call it the Thor 5 is what the name of it is. But they announced this right before SHOT Show at a price point of around $5,500. And automatically people were going nuts. And nuts, I guess, in a good way, because wow, everybody talked about the price of optics coming down, but how did we go from iRay's, RS75 1280 resolution for $18,000 and then, 6 months later it goes to $5,500. So let's clear up.
Not iRay.
Not iRay,
not
but
iRay.
ATN's Thor 5 went announced at $5,500. So yes, we did see it. So a lot of you have asked, did you go see it? What's it look like? So I'll briefly say something and then we'll move on. As y'all know, we don't sell, we don't review ATN products. We sold ATN products many years ago. We just had some issues like a lot of other dealers with the quality of product customer service. And we've talked about it many times on the show, but we are still fans of thermal. We're still fans of night vision. And if something comes out brand new, we are going to go look at it. So we had to go look, something comes out like this, that's this new and this talked about, we at least have to go look through it. And I know y'all, we're looking through this stuff through a show on a showroom floor. Everything looks great inside. We talk about it all the time. Don't go decide on an optic. Don't go buy an optic if all you saw was a guy standing down an aisle 30 yards away, because everything looks great. It doesn't matter what it looks like. But Jason and I did go by their booth shortly, very quickly, looked through it just to see it and just to say that we did. After seeing it, our minds remain unchanged about carrying ATN products, selling ATN products, or reviewing ATN products. And I'll say this, and Jason, you can add in your 2 cents. Shouldn't it be a big red flag if an optic comes to market at 1280 resolution optic comes to market at $5,500 and is priced below many other 640 resolution optics that are on the market right now? In my mind, that should be a big red flag if it's coming in cheaper than most people's, or I won't say most people, a lot of companies' 640 resolution scope. And with that being said, Jason, you can add your 2 cents and we'll move on to the next one.
I'll put my bow on this. Yeah, my bow on it is Hans is very diplomatic. Hans is very kind. I'm glad that he addressed this. I agree with everything he said. I think he said it probably nicer than I would have. And so at this point, what we've seen out of the unit, our mind remains unchanged. And no. So that's it. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Holosun.
Yeah.
I say that right. Holosun.
Holosun, known for their for their daytime red dot optics. I don't really, we're not hunting guys. I don't use any Holosun stuff, but they have a big following. Cool stuff, they have a big following, a cult following. I told Jason we were in the booth, and it was elbows to elbow back. I mean, it was packed in there. Everybody was stacked in on like cordwood, and you could not move around. So a lot of excitement. They talked about a lot of buzz about their new thermal reflex red dot sight that they have. And I want to say this is not
and a night vision.
That's true. They did have night vision.
Night vision and
so this is not new to the market. I know Jason, Infrared Outdoor has a thermal reflex sight that they're not through iRay USA, but like overseas,
it's
Europe.
Not a US
Yeah,
model,
it's Europe. They have a reflex sight. SIG came out with the Echoes and Echo 3s, which are kind of a reflex sight, but not really. I don't know. It's kind of that design. But weird. I will say the Holosun, we looked through the thermal reflex red dot. Not a bad design, kind of cool looking. I think there were some positives about it. Again, I'm gonna be diplomatic, but this is not an optic that's practical for hunting with. If you want to look down the hallway of your house, if you want to look in your front yard, it is more than fine. If you are trying to hog or coyote with, I can't imagine trying to legitimately and practically hunt with a thermal reflex sight. So again, for those of you that were wondering about it, like I said, if you want to look down your hallway, if you want to look in your front yard, it's fine. Yeah. Don't hunt with it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, here's the thing, guys. I think we're going to see more in the future. We're going to see more thermal and night vision optics pop up in new or maybe redesigned ways, things we haven't thought of them before like this, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. I think if you're not buying this for hunting and you just want to have this, capability and look around the backyard and everything, it's great. Again, looking through it, I just don't think it's going to be what you're going to want if you're out there trying to shoot hogs and coyotes and hunt. And that's okay because listen, the SHOT Show is full of tons of stuff for shooters that are not hunting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would dare
absolutely.
to say that, 40% of this show is related to things that are shooting related, but not necessarily hunting related.
Absolutely.
So you can have both. So if you just want to shoot, I think it's cool. I think for more than just going out and shooting a coon, off the back porch or something. Yeah, I think you probably want to choose something more dedicated to hunting. But it's a cool little optic.
Cool little optic, and again, like Jason said, not bad at all. Seemed well made, well put together, nice display, kind of cool. Wouldn't mind having one on an optic for having around for property protection. I don't know. Anyway, but
it'd be a lot of money for
they're not cheap. So any other kind of house cleaning items we need to get out before we move into the?
No, I mean, I think those were the things we want to talk about. Overall, well, you know what? I want to. I mean, that's kind of the highlights there. Let's do this. Let's roll on in because I want to talk about the state of the industry, which is to me is kind of maybe just an overall wrap on the show and where we see things are going, what we've learned from being out there in Vegas for a week, a lot of meetings. But let's talk about some ETAs because I know some people want to know. Listen, I am going to try to go over this quickly. You're going to hear some of this. You're going to go, I don't know what this is. I don't know what they're talking about. And that's okay. There are some guys who've heard some of this stuff mentioned in whether it's the manufacturer interviews that we did. And just real quick, if you want to know a little more specifics about what is coming, we have 5 shows out. You can go back and find them. They're from last week. And they are an interview with AGM, Bering Optics, Pulsar, Envision, and iRay USA. And in those 5 interviews, either 5 separate shows, so you can pick and choose the ones you want to watch, and we interview a representative from each of those companies on each individual show, and they tell us, hey, here's what we're going to be announcing at SHOT Show, here's what's coming out, and gives you a little more detail than what we're going to give you here today. So if you're interested in that, absolutely go back. And again, you can pick and choose the manufacturer shows that you want to watch. But let me get my notes pulled up here, and I'm just going to, so some of this may have no context.
Yeah, and when we talk about loosely talk about dates, this stuff is more than likely going to change. So don't hold us to it right now. These are very best case scenario dates. But we kind of want to give you some expectation, but at the same time, don't be tapping your foot.
And I'll go ahead and tell you. I mean, the dates we get, we pad. Because this is my 10th year of doing this, and in all my years, I can probably count on just 2 or 3 fingers the number of times that something has come before a manufacturer has said it's going to come. And it's, again, not their fault. They're not. It's the way the world works in production and making things, and just the way it is. Everything takes longer than you expect. But rolling right into these here quickly, the Pulsar Thermion XG50 laser rangefinder, that is going to be the 3-power 640 Pulsar Thermion 12 micron. That unit is going to be $59.99, which is the exact same price as the XP50 laser rangefinder. These units are sitting in Texas at Pulsar USA's facility now. They were there at SHOT Show. So that's a really good thing. It's just a matter of them that they wanted to do this. They built these things up so they could ship these immediately. So they were taking orders there at the show. All dealers were allowed to put their orders in, and now they'll start divvying those units up and shipping them out. We do expect to have those in the next 2 weeks. And I do believe this is realistic in that, to be honest, I mean, I'm not going to predict this. I think it would not be completely unheard of for them to be here within a couple days of this podcast releasing. But that's a best case. But I'm going to say more realistic by the first week of February. I think it's very realistic. They've just, like I said, got to get these orders divvied up and get them shipped out to all the dealers. So we're going to have a good many of those coming. If you're interested, again, this is coming quickly. So if you want one of those, definitely holler at us, and you can get one reserved, get a deposit, and for sure get one on the first shipment. All right. The Pulsar Talion XG35. This is going to be a 640 12 micron. I believe it's going to be a 2-power base mag. This is going to be more of their I hate to use this word because it's not going to be, but budget friendly. Okay, budget friendly. 640. It's going to be less expensive. It's not going to offer the exact same image quality as you would get out of the XP50, but it's going to come in at a less expensive price. To be honest with you, even there at SHOT, the final price was not set. But they were just telling us give or take $4,300. So, could be significantly less than the XP50 Thermion at $5,000. Again, this unit, they're basically saying, maybe in April, May kind of unit. So spring. Then we've got the very popular, everybody's waiting on this, the Duo. And the Duo is going to be the unit that's an XP50, and it has the 4K daytime sensor. The first unit that's coming out is going to be the 50, and it is going to be a 2-power base magnification unit. They're looking March, April on those. And then 30 to 45 days after those come, whenever that is, so another month to 2 months, they're expecting the Duo, the 55s to come, and that will be your same 2-power XP50, but with a 4-power daytime optic on there. And then we've got the Merger XLs. Now, these are exciting. This is the first optic that Pulsar has released that is going to be higher than a 640 resolution. These will be a 1024 by 768 high resolution. That's where we're getting the XL from. So those units are going to be, again, these are binoculars. So that should have stated that. They're binoculars with a laser rangefinder. Look just like the regular Merger XP50s that we reviewed on this show, but with the high resolution. They're going to be $79.99, so $8,000, and we're expecting those around May, give or take. And I was told to expect these to absolutely dribble in. Pulsar said, tell your guys if anybody wants one, they need to put down a deposit, and they need to sit tight and hold on. And when they come, they're going to come very slow. And don't be surprised if it's 1 or 2 or 3 here and there throughout the summer. So just FYI, those are going to be in low supply, and I imagine in pretty high demand. Moving on here. Oh, the Pulsar Ballistic app. This app is already in the App Store. You can download it now. And this is the app that will be talking to, I don't know if that's the right word, connecting and talking to your scope. If you have a Pulsar Thermion 2 XP50 Pro laser rangefinder, or the Pulsar Thermion 2 laser rangefinder.
I think you just showed your age there when you said it was going to be talking to the scope.
Talk to it? Yeah, I probably did. It's going to talk to each other. So it's going to connect, and it's going to give you basically your ballistics on your screen using the laser rangefinder. They're saying that so the app is available,
right,
but your firmware on your Thermion is going to have to be updated. They're saying it's going to be a few weeks on the firmware. They are in final stages of testing to making sure everything's good before they release that. Again, I know this seems obvious when I'm going to say this, but I've already had some guys asking, and I get it, it's confusing. This is only if you have a laser rangefinder, because the rangefinder is giving the yardage, and then it's telling your scope, and it's giving you another little holdover on your reticle. And Pulsar is saying eventually, if all goes well, the Trail 2s, LRFs, should be included in this. There is no ETA for that to happen. Guys said it's going to be, a little more difficult to get it to work on those because they're different, hardware and software than what's in the Thermion. So the Thermions are coming first because those are the current models. So that's the Pulsar rundown. Hans, you wanted to say something?
No, the way it was explained, the ballistics app was pretty cool. I mean, you're building a profile based on your caliber, on your bullet information. You're putting all that in, and it's adjusting. You can put wind adjustments in there. It doesn't move your reticle, but it puts you a dot, basically where you need to aim, your aim point dot. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to, for all you tech guys out there that like that kind of stuff, there is a lot of people that ask when we take phone calls about laser rangefinders, does it adjust for you? Does it tell you where to aim? This is kind of what you've been waiting for Pulsar, if you're a big Pulsar fan.
Yep, for sure. I'm going to move on quickly because, guys, I know this is just tedious stuff here. And I know a lot of you are listening going, what are these optics? And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sitting here looking at some of these lists, and I'm like, I don't know what these things are either. I mean, there's so much. And we still don't even have necessarily final pricing on every single thing. There were some things, being mumbled around in the booth of different manufacturers of, oh, yeah, we're going to have this. And, hey, we don't have this here. And so there's a lot of moving parts, and that's why these dates are estimates, and estimates can change. There's things that can be delayed. So again, don't put any of this, and put on your calendar and tap your toe for the day for it to happen. But moving on real quick, let's go to iRay USA. Some different optics they've got coming from Infrared. They've got the Bolt TL35 version 2. That's going to be the unit that has audio recording, as well as going to have Bluetooth, and eventually they'll have a laser rangefinder that can connect via Bluetooth to the unit. I don't know when the rangefinder's coming, but the Bolt 35 VL2 should be coming in at that $3,300 price. So, back where it was, I know there was a lot of guys that were like, I just bought my Bolt and, I got this great, well, you got a great deal on it. I mean, you got the Bolt at several $100s off back in the fall. So if you got one, that's still a great deal. This is, again, going to be back up at the full price. And they're saying we should have those within a couple weeks. So that's going to be incoming very soon. They're also going to have the Ricoh GL35 that does not have the laser rangefinder. That unit, they're saying a couple weeks on that as well. The rest of the Ricoh Gs, there's going to be several more coming. The 640s with and without laser rangefinders. They're basically saying, maybe into March, sometime in April, sometime around then. The Ricoh Pro, that's going to be the unit that has the optical zoom in it, and we're really excited to see this in the field. Got to play with this on the show floor. The one thing I really want to see, and I want to know how it does, is what the sharpness is when you are changing from the optical zoom from one lens to the other. On the show floor, it looked really, really good. The sharpness was spot on. I want to see it in the field and see how it does. I'm very excited to see if this unit can stand up to the hype, because there's a lot of hype around this, and if it does, it's definitely going to be a change for the industry, and I think we'll see a lot more of these type of optics to come. That unit's probably coming somewhere around April or May. The hybrid unit, that's going to be the unit that is a thermal scope but can function as a clip-on. I don't believe this unit is going to be what you're going to want to buy if you're just looking for a clip-on. I think it's for the guy who might use it as a clip-on, but not use it that way all the time. That's units, again, April or May. The new MH25W, this is going to be the new small little mini helmet mountable 640 monocular. It's non-weapon mountable, and that's going to replace the current MH25, and it's going to have a different eyepiece on it. That's supposed to be better for guys that are, wearing them on helmets. Probably looking somewhere around into March 1st of April on that. And then there is the new dedicated clip-on. I believe that's the MH50 is that model. Looks like April or May on that unit. So again, we've got some pending things here with the Bolt and the GL35 non-LRF here in the next couple weeks. Everything else, honestly, we're talking about 2 to 4 months. So it's, 2 to 3 anyway at best. So it's going to drag into there. Quickly moving on to AGM, they got a couple optics. We've got the Neath, that is going to be their digital night vision unit that is in the same housing as the varmints. They're saying into February, 1st of March. The Sidewinder monoculars, both the 384 and the 640s, super pumped about these things, guys. Really cannot wait to get our hands back on these. We've used both the Neath and the Sidewinders before shot, and they were awesome. Again, same date, end of February, 1st of March. And then moving on last here, Bering Optics, the Super Hogster Laser Rangefinder. They're telling us that unit mid-February to March. I don't know. I mean, that's somewhere around there. I'd just say March or so. Same thing with the Super Yoder Laser Rangefinder. A lot of questions about those units. Guys are asking us, what do you think about the AA batteries? I think Hans might have mentioned this earlier in the show. I'm telling everybody I'm on the fence. I mean, I think it can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. I don't know. We're going to have to get them. Right. We're going to have to play with them. We're going to see what the battery life is like. I can't think of any modern scope, I don't want to say ever historically, but in modern history that's used AAs. Most scopes like this use CR123As, and I know a lot of people don't like that. CR123As are not cheap, and they're not necessarily as easy to find as AAs, and so that's something a lot of guys don't like. But AAs, I mean, you can get them anywhere, so we're going to see. I mean, the battery life that Bering, is saying they, should be getting out of these is good. So we will be testing that out as well. And then what else? There's going to be, I'm trying to see here. We've got the new digital night vision scope coming. I don't know if I got a date on that one. We'll have to check on that. Just going on down through here. I'm sorry, there's so many notes here. I think that's basically it. Another thing that I think was mentioned is that Bering is going to start offering some American Defense mounts. They said those will be probably in February or March. Those will start becoming an option as well. So I don't know. That's a pretty quick as rundown as I can do on some ETAs. What I would say to you is this. If there's a specific optic that you're interested in and you just want to know the ETA, maybe we didn't mention it, or maybe you say I didn't quite understand, drop an email to us. You can go to the website, outdoorlegacygear.com, and say, hey, I'm interested in purchasing this from y'all, but I want to know the date. If you want to, really talk about more info, maybe this unit is right for you, then you can give us a call and we'll be glad to talk to you about it. But again, a lot of these optics we have not had the chance to actually test in the field yet. So some of our information is going to be limited as well.
Yeah. So now that we got the paperwork out of the way, Jason, let's talk about the state of the industry. We're gonna run down a little bit about what we learned from the show, what maybe signs at this points for the future of night vision and thermal optics, where we've come from recently. And I want to start off what we've talked about the last show and one of our interview shows, but I think it's putting a lot of pressure on the market now. Is one of the themes of the show was warranty. We saw AGM go from a 3-year warranty to a 5-year warranty on all 384 or 640 resolution thermal optics that were purchased on or after January 1st, 2023. So that's a big jump, 3 to 5 years for anybody that purchased it after the first of the year, that 384 to 640. So now you have AGM, you have iRay USA, and you have Envision Optics at a 5-year warranty. You've got Bering right now, Bering Optics at a 4-year warranty, and you've got Pulsar at a 3-year warranty. So I think that's putting a lot of pressure on the companies out there to kind of continue that upward climb in their as far as their warranty term. And the reason, think about it, it just gives people such peace of mind and ease when they're purchasing an expensive optic, especially one that they don't have a lot of chance to handle before they use it, or they don't really even get a chance to see it before they use it, and to know that.
You mean before they buy it?
Yeah, before they buy it. A lot of people were talking about. I had a guy email me and said, "Hey, you have a store that I can go look at all this stuff?" No, a lot of people are making these decisions to buy just off of information like this, information they see somewhere else. But the 5-year warranty now seems to be, Jason, you disagree if you want. 5-year kind of seems to be almost like the standard now.
It's the gold standard.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good thing. And guys, I'm going to say a couple things here. One, 3 year, and I said this again years ago when I got into this, and when I was just cutting my teeth, and I started asking about warranty. I mean, again, I'm just brand new into this, 10 years ago, and I'm saying, hey, what's the warranty on this scope? Well, 3 years. 3 years. Everybody was at 3 years, and I was blown away.
Exactly.
That a manufacturer would offer the 3-year warranty on an electronic item, because at the same time, I'm buying, laptop computers. And laptops were really expensive 10 years ago. I mean, especially if you got a good one. Flat screen TVs, digital cameras, cell phones, and these things all come with a 1-year warranty. And you've got to pay some goofy upgrade fee to get a 2-year or a 3-year, and it's always like some third-party deal, and you know how it works. It's like never probably a really good deal. It's like, and they're kind of scammy on some of these extended warranties you could buy, but these were the manufacturers offering it. So 3 years was always amazing to me. And I know when you get into this, you're like, well, 3 years ought to be the minimum. Well, that's easy to say, but there's every other electronic item you buy is 1 year.
Go buy a washing machine or a refrigerator or a computer, like all the other things you mentioned. You're not getting that for sure. And these are expensive items.
Not at all.
We know how electronics can be.
And even if you do get some of these extended warranties, there's always the catch of, well, we cover parts but not labor, or we cover
or
whatever.
It's prorated. Yeah, they're prorated by
warranties.
the age of the device. So
that's right.
I think we take a lot of that for granted. The 3, 4, because 3 years is even a good warranty. I mean, that's gonna, and I wouldn't. Just because Pulsar right now is the only one at 3 years, that would not give me any less confidence buying their optics at all, at all. But
Pulsar is going to continue to sell every optic they can make. I mean, they're one of the most sought after brands, high demand and low supply, and they make great optics. But you're right though. I mean, it is interesting how this has evolved quickly.
This was not. I'll speak for myself. 6 months ago, the warranty increase, that was not on my radar. There were so many other features, things that I was thinking about that were going to be coming in the industry. I think when AGM stepped up and said, we're going to do a 5-year, that to me was a shock. I just did not see it coming. And again, so that was one of the themes, with warranty getting better. Obviously, that's just better for the consumer. I'd say, and I'll let you talk about your thoughts, but the other thing I think that was the theme from the show and what we've talked about now for a while is higher resolution, ultra high resolution, whatever you want to call it. You got the Pulsar Merger XL50, which is their first, like Jason said, their first higher resolution, higher than 640 resolution. It's the thermal binocular with the 1024 thermal resolution. We talked to the folks at Linred, who they manufacture thermal sensors, and man, when you talk to them, the sky is the limit on this kind of stuff. So I think that this is gonna be. We're going to continue to see this, kind of what our predictions were before the show, what we saw at the show, and moving into the summer of 2023 and even beyond. I think that these thermal companies are going to try to push out higher and higher resolution, especially now that there's been a couple of them thrown out there, and now the price is kind of set. Now the companies know where to, they know where the bar is. The bar is this certain amount of quality in this certain ballpark in price, unless you're ATN and you come in below any Envision optic on the market. That's 640 resolution. 640, but I that is the bench has been set, and now that iRay came out with an $18,000 1280 resolution scope, I think that's. Everybody's going to look to that and say, okay, how do we beat that in quality and how do we beat that in price? So that's great. Yeah.
I tell you something else that I think is here. It's here to stay. I think we're seeing more and more of it, and that's laser rangefinders.
Yeah.
If we carry this back, and I didn't do any research because I'm getting old and my mind gets fuzzy on all these optics, but I would say, Hans, I'm going to say this, and you can please correct me if I'm wrong, but 3 years ago, maybe less, but I'm going to say 3 years ago, no one besides Pulsar had laser rangefinder, correct?
Not of the brands that we sell, no.
That's what I'm talking about. Of these, of these 5 big brands.
No.
So yeah.
The only other brand that we carried before that, that's not around right now in name is FLIR, and they didn't have a laser rangefinder unit. So
they never had a laser rangefinder. No. So 3 years ago, and maybe it was really only 2, but I'm going to say 3 years, cover my bases. Pulsar had 2 laser rangefinder scopes. They were the first to come out with this and implement it in something that worked well and was legit. And they had, again, 2 optics, an XQ50 and an XP50. And fast forward to where we are today, every manufacturer has laser rangefinders. I mean, now, Bering just announced what I say. They announced them last year. They're basically re-announced. Hopefully, actually going to get them out to us this time. They had some delays in production. That's a whole other topic.
That was Jason. That was
before.
Nicely worded. Re-announced.
Well, that's what it is. It's re-announced.
The announcement from 2022. But yeah, you're exactly
right.
Hey,
and call a spade here. The XG50 is a re-announcement as well. The Thermion XG50.
Absolutely.
That was announced at EWA in March, which is March of 2022, which is the European version of the SHOT Show. And that was announced there. So that it didn't ever make it to the market. That's a re-announcement.
I called Jeff on that one. When Jeff Murray was on the show for the interview, I told him it was the worst kept secret ever because, it's been out. And
it had been announced overseas. That's right. So with that said, though, laser rangefinders, Bering has got 2 coming. Pulsar has multiple units now. They've got it in handhelds as well. You've got AGM. They've got multiple units. iRay got a lot of you. So everybody's doing it. And I think it's a good thing. And I think now we've got real choices because, again, 2-3 years ago, you call and you go, hey, I need a scope with a laser rangefinder. And I go, A or B? Which one do you want? And now it's like,
lots of choices.
Well, okay, let's figure it out. We got a lot of options.
Lots of choices, lots of size. There's so many different. And that's a good thing. The laser rangefinder coming on board. Really like that feature. More people are asking about it, and a lot of people say, "Well, is it a necessity or a luxury?" Well, I don't think it's a necessity in a lot of cases, but with that feature maybe it's going to be a feature like onboard recording. Maybe it's going to be something now that, hey, this just comes with it, and it's the same price whether if you got it or don't got it. It's not going to add significant costs. But yeah, you're exactly right on a laser rangefinder. Lots of scopes with laser rangefinders.
Okay, I know we're running low on time, but I want to hit one more thing. I think another theme that we had with a lot of manufacturers, with all the manufacturers, every manufacturer that we deal with, a theme was the discussion of customer service. And right now, currently, and even going back for the last 45 days or so, with several of the companies, there's been some customer service issues. These issues stem from everything from major software crashes that crippled the not just customer service but the entire company. For one of the companies,
and not software on the scopes, but software within the offices.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, in their office that runs their entire business. Major problems there. Another company had multiple customer service employees quit. The manager quit, and then I think it's a domino effect. Everybody's overwhelmed. I don't know the inner workings. I'm just making assumptions here. Doesn't really matter. So they're out in the busiest season of the year trying to rehire. Other companies, and I think it's combined with all of these, it's just growing pains. This is the time of year. November, December, January, February, those are the busiest times for this industry. And so one of the questions that we keep getting is, hey, does insert brand name, what happened to their customer service? Or why are you not talking about their bad customer service? And here's where we're at on this. All the companies that we deal with, we believe, historically speaking, and again, currently commit to good customer service. Now, I do believe that there's some companies struggling with that right now. I believe it's a hiccup. I believe it's temporary. If I believed that, they gave up on customer service and this is just the way it's going to be, well, we would be seriously talking about that and considering whether we would continue to sell those brands, promote those brands, review those brands, because customer service is what our business model is built on, and we want to work with companies who do the same. We have dropped other companies, and we have not picked up other brands because of customer service related issues. So we do take it serious, but at the same time, I know that everybody can have a bad day, a week, or sometimes a month or two. And as long as, we're being communicated to and explained, hey, listen, this is what's going on. You got to bear with us. And one thing we know, as a company ourselves, is that if you ever get behind on anything, it's really, really hard to dig out of that. And if you're a really big company and you get behind, it's, obviously their problems snowball bigger than ours. So with all that said, all I'm making the point is of all the brands we deal with, we spoke to every single one about customer service. And even the ones that right now are hitting it out of the ballpark. We're talking to them. What do you customer service? What are your plans? What are you going to do? Do you have a plan for this? Are you going to continue to do this? We want to know because that's a big, big deal for us. And so anyway, what I would just say to you is, I feel confident in all of these brands. Anybody that's struggling, I think they've all had unique issues that caused them to get behind. I believe every single one of them has a plan to work out of it and get out of it and get back up on top of it. And if they don't, then we're going to be, if we go down the road in 6-8 months and nothing's changed, we're going to be having some serious talks with these companies as well. So I want you to know that we hear these things that are going on. And definitely, we're trying to hold their feet to the fire to ensure this isn't like, well, we've just given up on it. We're selling scopes like crazy. Who cares? And again, we're not hearing that out of any of these companies.
You mentioned growing pains, and that brought something to my mind. One of the companies that we've worked with and visited with, they went from, having their first SHOT Show like 3 years ago to now, opening 3 offices across the United States. In a short amount of time. Yeah, there's just the popularity of this industry, and Jason and I aren't making any excuses for any of these companies because these things have to be fixed, but we are confident that they are going to be fixed, and that's why I think now more than ever it's important to purchase optics from a good, reputable dealer, and that doesn't mean the dealer is going to be able to take away your warranty pains from you or relieve that from you. But I think that a good dealer can guide you in the right direction and navigate some growing pains with some of these companies. But anyway,
and let me say one or two last things on this. One is I want to be clear. With some of these companies that are struggling, I'm being very diplomatic and nice about it here, but on the backside, I'm nice about it. But I'm like,
Jason's making things
what's
uncomfortable.
going on?
Yeah, these meetings can be uncomfortable with Jason. I'm like, I think I need to go duck out for a little bit and let the big boys talk.
The point I'm making is we're holding their feet to the fire, okay? Because I just want to bring that up, but we are. I don't want you to think that it's all everybody slapping each other's back. There's a lot of, okay, what's going on? Are you going to fix this? Because if not, what are we going to do here? But anyway, I believe there is, and I tell you what, talking about growing pains, something Hans and I will talk more in the future of. But even our company, we have just recently hired a new salesman. That's something I think we'll talk more about on the show in the future. But everybody's growing, and there are growing pains to that, and there's training people, and there's getting people going, and we're doing through some of the same things, and our team is growing, and we're thankful for that. So, all right, guys. Well, I know y'all are tired of hearing about SHOT Show.
One more thing I want to say before we end, and I don't think Jason's hired by replacement, but I don't know. The jury's still out on that.
Let's just say this. We're going to see if he can edit videos.
You may see a much better looking man on this show in the future, more than me. But one thing I wanted to mention, Jason, and that's what we talked about, new optics coming out sometime in the future. everybody needs to pay attention to EWA. I think EWA is pretty much the same, or pretty close to the same as the American SHOT Show, the SHOT Show in that we just got back from. Yeah. It's the European version of that, and all the companies that we deal with, I say all of them, majority of them, also deal in with European dealers, and they're European companies and sell in Europe. They all point to, hey, the Americans have the SHOT Show when some new stuff comes out, but EWA. So pay attention to EWA, because I think around that time there might be some new releases as well. When is that? Spring, early summer, something like that?
It's normally around March, I believe. And you're right. And I also have to give the caveat that there will be things get announced that may not be American models.
Yeah,
so
true.
Don't just, if you see something good, you may see it from a name brand that's here in the U.S. and go, oh, great, it's coming to America. Yeah. It may or may not be coming to the U.S. So, but you never know. I do think Hans is right. I think that there's one thing that COVID changed, and I think it changed permanently, is that everything new in the old days, pre-COVID, came out at SHOT Show. It was very, very strange for a manufacturer to do a spring, summer, fall release that wasn't already announced at SHOT Show. I mean, sometimes it would happen, but it was just always like a big surprise. Now that's very common. When we just everything, when the whole world shut down and manufacturing was dragging and supply, and then SHOT Show being canceled, and it kind of allowed these manufacturers some breathing room and to say, hey, you know what? We don't have this optic ready for the SHOT Show. Maybe we'll announce it in June or July or August, and or whatever. So we may see more things come out, and I know what the question is going to be. Should I wait? Should I not buy anything until then? Guys, who knows? Some of these optics may never come. And even if they do, by the time they come, guess what? We're going to be talking about getting ready to go to SHOT Show again. Exactly. So it's a constant cycle.
Exactly. So, all right. This has been the state of the industry. We talked about SHOT Show. We talked about some estimated time of arrivals of some of these scopes. Gave our opinions. Y'all may have asked for it. You may not care, or you may tune in because you do care. But either way, we appreciate you watching. If you're looking, again, to buy an optic, outdoorlegacygear.com. You can talk to me on the phone, give us a call, 877-350-1818 if you want to know what some of this stuff looks like. We looked at it in the show, y'all, but again, we're going to be doing field testing reviews on all of this stuff. As soon as it comes in, you need to stay tuned. We got a lot of reviews, as you can tell with all these optics coming out. If you want to find out more information about the Late Night Vision Show, our podcast, past episodes, really, I would say the best place to go to find all of it, thelatenightVisionShow.com. All of our past episodes are listed there. If you'd rather watch it on YouTube, again, the Late Night Vision Show. And then on socials, you can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, the Late Night Vision Show. You can find Outdoor Legacy over on Facebook and on Instagram, a lot of the hunting forums we hang out on and answer some questions. And you can find me on YouTube, Hans ETX, that's HANSETX, doing a lot of short form reviews and doing some predator and coyote hunting, and hog hunting. And then you can find me on Instagram. I stay off Facebook. I'll leave that to the old men like Jason, who let him hang out on Facebook. All us new young people, we hang out on Instagram. So you can find me over there at Hans ETX. But take it away, Jason.
All right, guys. Hey, we hope you enjoyed the show. We hope to see you back here next week. Between now and then, y'all stay safe in the field and keep making those bacon pancakes.